With week 2 of the preseason now in the books and the Carolina Panthers really needing a rebound from that week 1 disaster offensively, it would be safe to assume that Dave Canellis would have placed his starters at least in for one series. But surprisingly enough, the starters did not play on either side of the ball. Surprising? But most Panther fans are okay with it.
Damn you! Cut it out.
Want to find out how they fared? Find out next on Growlin' and Prowlin'. Welcome back, guys. Thank you all for joining us yet again on Growlin' and Prowlin'. Of course, I am your host, Mr. CeeLo here. As we get into the second week of preseason, but hope you guys are doing great. But before we do that, I hope you guys are doing great. Hopefully, you're not dealing with the heat that we're dealing with down here in the South. But it's getting better as we're near the midway point of August, which usually means we're starting to get cooler temperatures. As many of you, like us here in the state of Georgia, have started back to high school football. Best of luck all throughout your high school team season, whoever you root for. Go Dublin Irish. But before we go forward, after congratulating all of our football teams, want to go and take care of a little bit of housekeeping. Guys, please go to the Growlin' and Prowlin' Facebook page and make yourselves known, because this is the only way I'm going to know who I am going to give away the Growlin' and Prowlin' t-shirt to. But I want to go ahead and I want to go through some comments on the Facebook groups that I am affiliated with. And guys, make sure you go by and visit these groups. These are some really hardcore fans there. They're really great fans. And I'm not just going to put their comments on the air and roast them, but I want them to exercise a little bit of understanding, because here, look, all of us are in it together. Not only the players, but the fans. We are the reason that the Carolina Panthers exist. A lot of people are going to say, oh, because it's ownership. No, they don't exist without us. We're the ones that pay our hard-earned dollars. We want to have a respectable product on the field that we gladly will show off. But looking here at real Carolina Panthers fans, now keep in mind these are all Facebook groups. I had 2 comments down there. One, Robert says, according to I had 2 comments on, are the Panthers going to finish with the first pick again? Robert says, relax, the Cats will be fine and we'll have a winning record. Smiley face. Then Herbert followed up by, I doubt it. If Bryce Young doesn't improve, yes, and that number 1 draft pick should be used on a better and taller quarterback. There's no reason why Bryce Young shouldn't be improving. Kind of agree with that, but as much as we invested in Bryce Young, guys, many of you don't realize, but we got a second round pick that's going to Chicago this year as well.
What the you son bitch.
Exactly. So I'm of the belief Scott Fitterer should never be a GM again. Ever. You don't give up that much. Period.
Damn you. Dumb shit.
Then let's go over to the Keep Pounding group. These are some hardcore fans too. Same topic. Are the Panthers going to finish with the first pick again? And I had 10 likes and 13 wows. Joe says, I hope not. Go Panthers. Marquise says, week 1 we played our 3rd and 4th string, plus it's preseason. And here's the thing. And then Ashley followed up with it to his comment was exactly. And let me read them all first before I go into that. Joe says, I hope not, go Panthers. I'm really questioning whoever runs this page. Go find another team to go at with your negativity. We don't want you around here. And this is Matthew. And then Jennifer replied, facts. Okay, Nigel said no. And Dan said, if you do we keep it? I'm going to go out on the limb and say no. That was Jamal. Isaac said, I hope not, bro. Then Daquan said, wow. And Jonathan holds his hand out like this. And then Kelvin Flores goes 4-13. Well, let's answer the question as is. The not playing them in the preseason. How quickly we forget when the season is a wash. Do many of you remember when Bryce played last year and how horrible the offense looked then?
God damn!
I don't think many of you do. This is the one time Dave Canellis has got to say, okay, I've got to give the fans something to halfway look excited about. Because here's the reality. You can sit here and toot Dave Canellis' horn and say he doesn't want to show his hand. Guess what? You are only going to be able to hide that for one team. And after that, you play that team again. So how many different, what are you going to do? Run the same, what you got, 17 plays? You got 17 plays, and you're going to put one of them out there every game. What you going to do? Run the same play over and over again against the Saints, then put another play? I know most teams run more than 17 plays. I get it. But I understand the way most teams operate. They really only run anywhere from 20 to 25 plays out of different formations. That's how they do it. And the truth of the matter is if you think that holding plays is going to give you any more of an advantage, then you're sadly mistaken, Canellis. I get it. There are certain plays you put away for certain circumstances. But the truth of the matter is, you need to get something to get not only this fan base excited, but you need to do some things that get this team some confidence. We had a great practice we had 2 great practices against the Jets last year. Did we forget that? Yeah. And if you think this is negativity, it's not negativity. It's frustration. Because the reality of it is, you can't keep changing over and over and over again because you're picking wrong. This goes back to the same old belief system that, we're going to just get it right week 1. That's not going to happen. You see what the Bears are doing. You see what Houston is doing. You see what Buffalo is doing. These teams have new players on this team, and they're saying to themselves, we have to get them game action. I don't care if you get them 2 drives. Bryce needs to be in there along with his new weapons. You can sit here and practice all day. Practice does you not a bit of good when you get out there on the Sundays that it matters. Timing is off. Reads are off. Blocking schemes are off. Blocking assignments are off. What are all of you going to say then? All of you that say, it's just preseason. That's why they call it preseason. It's not just to evaluate the guys you got. I was about to give away something in the show. Because as we're going to see later on, there was a guy that performed at a high level Saturday. He got waived today.
What a dumbass!
He got waived. Is that what you call analysis? Analyzing talent and then allowing him to go out and go bye-bye so another team can snatch him right up? And I know a lot of people are going to say, we have a lot of depth at running back. Sure. 2 of the guys are sitting on the sideline. I'm just saying. And there's a lot of people that are saying that they don't think we'll get the first pick this year. I don't know. Guys, I really don't know. And I'm not even trying to be funny. This is very scary territory for us as Panther fans, because the reality of it is this is deeper than this goes deeper than Bryce Young. And it's going to have to be some changes that are made, and they're going to have to be changes that make this team get some kind of fire underneath it. And it's going to be some coaching. It's going to be some coaching that's going to need to happen. But let's move forward and go to Carolina Panthers keep pounding group. Same question. Josh said maybe we can get a quarterback over 6 feet. Then Anthony said height has nothing to do with how you play the game. Playing the quarterback position is about intelligence. Anthony, I kind of agree with that. And I definitely don't agree with wholeheartedly with what Josh is talking about with we need to get a quarterback over 6 feet. 6 feet don't always necessarily. If you have a coach that understands exactly how to draw up plays and utilize his ability. Drew Brees wasn't 6 feet tall, but look at what he was able to do. So that's irrelevant in this case. And Jeremy said, look at all the players already injured in League One after the Week 1 preseason. People want us to play our best players in meaningless preseason game because we're on the hot seat. Come on, man. Jeremy, here's the thing. It's not so much about a meaningless game. It's all about clicking. If you didn't listen to the show, what you should have heard was the first game, no matter how bad of a football team you are. I mentioned it vividly when I talked about the Bengals and Steelers. The Bengals turned that game, handed that game to the Steelers. But yet, the Bengals were good enough to be in that game. Up to the end. They should have won the game. If they would have had a decent long snapper, they win the game. The Steelers ended up stealing that game. But here's the reality. You can look at a team and the rust that they have can be your benefit. Burrow had rust. Why do you think Burrow played his game? Burrow's been sitting on the sideline forever. So this whole notion is getting hurt in a meaningless game. This is a game that can give you a springboard into the regular season. It's not a meaningless game. So I would change that. You can have your opinion on it, but to me, getting continuity with your offensive line, getting continuity between wide receiver and quarterback, and even check plays if your defense does that between your middle linebacker and secondary, getting your coverage cues in play, or even your blocking cues with your own line. Those are imperative. But nonetheless, good comment, Jeremy. Then we see Anthony Jones gave me a long one. Man, I'm trying to figure this out. What makes each critic believe the Panthers are the same team of yesteryear? For some reason, they believe Bryce didn't learn anything from the teams and mistakes he made. And Canellis is just another Frank Reich. We have some sick fans. Maybe this is the problem. We have the same type of sick fans we've always had since the days of Cam Newton and Ron Rivera.
Bruh.
Well, Anthony, your critique is well taken. However, you're wrong. We're not fans that are sitting here upset already. We're upset because we saw this before. We saw it with Frank Reich. And that's exactly what I referred to. You can't keep doing the same things and getting different results. You can get all the talent you want. But until you properly utilize and get it together, doesn't mean a thing. You don't get better by sitting on the sidelines and watching. You get better by real life speed in-game reps. However, I do think Bryce is learning from his mistakes, but which remains to be seen. But you can't, just as much as we put things on the quarterback, if the quarterback does not have those repetitions, He doesn't know the speed of his receivers. He doesn't know when they break. He doesn't know the tendencies. And when that happens, when you don't have that kind of connection, you have to have that. When you don't have it, it does not look good out there on the field in game day. I don't care who you are. It does not look good. So that is my main focus when I talk about getting reps. Getting reps. Even Aaron Rodgers is talking about possibly being out there. And you guys know how I feel about A-Rod.
Bruh.
Then Charlie said injury curse has already arrived. Well, we've had some injuries. Of course, we had, guys, Xavier Woods and Dane Jackson are out, which made the Minnesota's signing of Stephon Gilmore all the more painful. But listen, Dan Morgan's going to figure this out, because the reality of it is we have to. And this is why I said it was so imperative that we go out and get another guy. And this is why I thought it was so imperative we re-sign Jeremy Chinn. Boy, TJ Tampa would have looked so good right now, wouldn't he? Just saying. Just saying. Now, let us get into Saturday night's deceptive defeat at the hands of the Jets, 15-12. I would say, above all, it was a decent showing. You had Jack Plummer go 11 of 18 for 42 yards, and the running game was once again featured. As we saw Dylan Johnson, who ran 18 times, 83 yards, and the first touchdown of the preseason for the Panthers. I think it's the first touchdown in 2 years.
That was pathetic.
I don't think we scored a single touchdown last year. I think it was the first. I think this is the first touchdown in over 2 years. And then he was waived today, by the way. Just so y'all know, the one guy that got us on the board was waived today. Yeah. And this whole notion, and I got to brag on Terrace Marshall, because he had some really great grabs against Sauce Gardner. And yeah, I don't know what Dave Canellis is doing, and everybody's sitting there saying, running his hand. Because, listen, Terrace Marshall is a monster when he gets, because some of the grabs he made in that practice session, that joint practice, were just unreal. But in my opinion, this is a guy that got to get on the field. This is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Terrace Marshall needs to be on the field. Jatavian Sanders had 2 catches for 22 yards and a 14-yard long one. And then, of course, you had Jalen Coker, who's probably not going to make the team. Emir Smith-Marset, who is being featured quite a bit. So I'm assuming this is going to be a guy that is going to have his opportunities. And then, of course, Mingo had a grab for 4 yards. Outside of that, my man Mike Strahan had a PI called on him, which that was garbage. I will say it like that. It was just straight garbage. That was not PI. That was just one of those where, yeah, we got to bail him out. Defensively, Jamie Robinson had a pretty darn good game. And, of course, Trevin Wallace continues to raise eyebrows at this junction of training camp. Shaw Smith-Wade could end up being a guy that is going to see some major snaps, being that the injury to Dane Jackson. And DJ Johnson's still coming along, making some progress. Eku Leota, my man, who looked like he was going to win his way onto the team, and probably still will. He ended up with a face mask early in the second half on Martinez. Shirellis has played exceptionally well. He's number 53, in case you guys don't know, out of Alcorn State. He had 5 tackles. And, guys, you can't stress this enough. Many of you are talking about getting looks at guys. Well, we got a damn good look. We got to look at Dylan Johnson and then waived him. So I don't want to hear this talk anymore about getting looks. We need to look at our offense. at our offense. There's no more time for games. You want to sit here and you want to go what? 8 3-and-outs before you realize you should have at least had 2 or 3 series in the preseason?
What? Dumb shit! Dumb
so
shit!
It's important to play these guys in game one, have all that rust on them, and drop the first game. Oh, just as long as they don't get hurt in preseason. Newsflash, people. They can get hurt in a regular game. Game one. Because why? Their muscles are not in check. You can say what you want. They're in training camp. They're doing this and doing that. They're not going. I can tell you right now, over half these guys are not going nearly as hard as they would game one. You want to know why? It's not just not to do with human nature. It has everything to do with adrenaline. When you get out there game one, what are you trying to do? Or what's the mentality? It's a fresh start. This is when it counts. But looking at the game, I was semi-happy with the defense. I still think we're giving up a lot on the ground. But I will say that the Jets have a really big running back in Braylon Allen. He was a guy that when I saw that when we took Brooks, the first thing I thought to myself is, why? The only way Brooks is going to prove anything to me is unless he can come out and just blow me away. Because to me, Braylon Allen reminds me of the next version of Derrick Henry. He's just a tad step slower. And it just was so annoying to watch this game knowing that we were just running the ball. Defensively, I was not dissatisfied. I was actually concerned that we weren't running more blitz packages. I know what people are going to say. Well, we don't want to show our hand. These are guys that are probably not going to be on the team. But here's the reality. You still need backups that are going to know your system. You can't walk into the season expecting that you're going to start the season and finish the season with the same guys. Majority of the time when that happens, good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen. And the reality of it is, you can't bank on the fact that you're going to have every guy. You're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to have you're going to have to plug in guys into key roles and make them into viable rotation pieces just in case the inevitable happens. And the inevitable, more likely than not, is going to happen. Now, I haven't heard whether or not the Panthers are going to start Bryce Young or any of the offensive starters. I heard whether the defensive starters are going to start this game. But I will tell you this. We need some serious work. Because you're not going to sit here and tell me that the same thing happened with Frank Wright last year is going to be any different if you're not playing these guys. We sit and we watch week one and everybody says it's like a comedy fest because there are mistakes like false starts or snaps that don't happen, mistimed passes that go for interceptions and pick sixes, receivers turning the wrong way. I'm just telling you, Panther fans, this has got to change. Our guys are going to have to play a couple of snaps. You could sit here and be upset and say this is stupid. If we get this guy hurt, we get this guy hurt. Well, here's the reality. He's going to go out there and look silly. Would you rather that and cost us a game? Now, we have the Buffalo Bills at 1 o'clock on Saturday in the finale. Now, I'm not sure if Josh Allen's going to play. I'm not sure if Bryce is going to play. But I will tell you this. We've got to put something out there on the field that is at least a stretch better than what we saw with Frank Wright in preseason. You shouldn't be absolutely terrible. Because, I mean, people are saying it's our depth. Guess what? Depth matters. You can sit here and make this argument about it's just preseason, but depth matters, people. It most certainly matters. Especially when you get into injuries. But let me know what you guys think. I'm so grateful for you guys that are coming in and showing out, making your comments known. But definitely, like I said, go by and check out all the groups that I'm friends with on Facebook and that are so active and passionate, just like myself. This is out of love, guys. All I'm saying is that we need to show that we're making improvements. That's all I'm saying. But as I said, hit me up in the comments below, and then go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and find out the other things I'm involved in. Not to mention, you go to the Growling and Prowling Facebook page and hit us up there and let us know what you think of the show. And make sure, if you're not subscribed, you go ahead and subscribe, you guys, because I want to keep bringing this content to you. And hopefully, go to the Facebook page and let me know if you're a. I need the call out to all of you that are subscribed, because I am going to do my drawing so that you guys can have a shot at the Growling and Prowling t-shirt. But until the next time, keep prowling the airwaves and keep growling out. Keep pounding.